You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Tuesday, the 16th of April. Opposition criticizes PM Modi for praising ED action, claims misuse of law can be seen. Heavy rains kills dozens in Pakistan and Afghanistan. And Afghanistan's first female Olympian calls for ban over Taliban's rights record. And now for all the details. A day after Prime Minister Narendra Modi made remarks on electoral bonds and central agencies, opposition leaders have reacted sharply, calling his comments into question. PM Modi, in an interview with ANI, praised the Enforcement Directorate for their work, highlighting that around 2,200 crore rupees has been recovered in cash by the Central Graft Agency during his tenure. Criticizing his praise for the ED, Congress MP Gaurav Gogoi said that PM Modi's BJP has become a safe haven for corrupt individuals because political leaders with income tax cases against them joined the ruling party to get a clean sheet from the government. Echoing a similar stance, TMC leader Shashi Panja also hit out at the Prime Minister, saying he is praising the ED because it is under his direction, an indication that Graft Agency is chasing every political party that is against the BJP.
कानून बेशक हमारे समय में था, पर उसका दुरुपयोग नहीं था। उसका दुरुपयोग अब हम देख रहे हैं। अब लोग ये कहते हैं कि जिस पे इनकम टैक्स का केस है वो भाजपा में शामिल हो जाए तो उसका इनकम टैक्स का केस खत्म हो जाएगा। तो मतलब भाजपा के अंदर वो सारे फरेब हैं, वो सारे फ्रॉड करने वाले लोग हैं, वो सारे सिंडिकेट से जुड़े हुए लोग हैं, वो सारे भ्रष्टाचार से जुड़े हुए लोग हैं। तो एक भ्रष्टाचार का एक अगर कहीं भ्रष्टाचारियों को कहीं अगर शरण चाहिए तो वो आश्रम भाजपा बन चुका है।
Countering PM Modi's remarks on electoral bonds, in which he said that scheme was aimed at curbing black money in elections, Congress leader Manish Tiwari alleged that the scheme was the most institutionalized corruption that can be carried out in a democracy. Both the person taking the money and the person giving it were not known. It has been proven by the decision of the Supreme Court that on one side go ED and CBI and on the other side come electoral bonds, he added. In a similar stance, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi also criticized the Prime Minister's remarks, alleging that the bond scheme was one of the biggest extortion schemes and the Prime Minister was the mastermind of the scam. He added that the Prime Minister is giving interviews because he was caught.
तो ये प्रधानमंत्री पकड़े गए हैं, इसीलिए ये एएनआई को इंटरव्यू दे रहे हैं। मैं बता रहा हूं, सुनो, ये पकड़े गए हैं। ये दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा एक्सटॉर्शन स्कीम है और इसके मास्टरमाइंड नरेंद्र मोदी जी हैं। अगर आप उनकी आंखों में देखें, मैंने देखा नहीं है, मगर अगर आप उनके एएनआई के इंटरव्यू में उनकी आंखों में देखेंगे तो आपको वो झलक दिख जाएगी।
Moving on. India's Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar on Monday said that the killings and violent attacks on Indian students in the US is a great concern for India. Jaishankar said some were murdered over personal issues, whereas others were victims to accidents. The Foreign Minister noted that embassies have been instructed to remain in touch with students and talk to them, warn them, especially about dangerous areas. He said that 11 to 12 lakh Indian students are living abroad in various countries. His statement comes amid the rise in the number of violent attacks on Indian students in the US. Earlier this month, a 25-year-old student from Hyderabad was found dead in Ohio. His mortal remains were brought to his residence in Hyderabad on Tuesday. Last month, unidentified assailants in the US had also killed a 20-year-old student hailing from Andhra Pradesh. Pakistan's Finance Minister Mohammad Aurangzeb on Monday informed that he would hold the talks with IMF during his visit to Washington and hoped to get a new loan agreement in place as soon as possible. Pakistan and the IMF last month reached a staff-level agreement on the second and last review of its current $3 billion standby arrangement, which, if cleared, will release about $1.1 billion to the struggling nation. That arrangement runs out in late April and the country needs more funding to avoid a balance of payment crisis. Aurangzeb said that the purpose is to agree these strategies with the fund and get the extended fund facility in place as quickly as possible. Moving on, at least 37 people have been killed in Pakistan due to the floods caused by heavy monsoon over the last 3 days, and that have also damaged property. In Balochistan province, 7 people were killed, 5 were struck by lightning, and 2 died when their roof collapsed. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif offered his condolences and said he had asked the chairman of the National Disaster Management Authority to coordinate with the provincial authorities to dispatch aid to the affected areas.
دلته د سورو د ډېر زیات بارانونه دي چې هغې د وجې نه ډېر سخت سیلاب راغلی دی. د سیلاب د وجې نه خلکو کورونو ته، مکانونو ته، سړکونو ته ډېر زیات نقصان ورسېدو. نو د اوسه پورې حکومت دلته څه سهولیات نه دي ورکړي، څه سهولیات او مدد یې نه دی کړی. نو حکومت له پکار دی چې دلته د خلکو مدد وکړي او خلکو له ریلیف ورکړي، ځکه چې د خلکو جاني هم مالي نقصانونه وشو. نو حکومت له پکار دی چې خلکو له ریلیف ورکړي او د عوامو مدد وکړي.
Meanwhile, in Afghanistan, heavy monsoon rains have destroyed crops and infrastructure and left a number of people dead and injured, according to reports. People were seen sifting through the debris of their houses, which were destroyed by the flood, as they tried to take out their cattle and belongings buried under the mud. A Taliban spokesperson said at least 33 people have reportedly died in the floods, while 27 were injured.
تقریبا 3 بجې دا کوټه راولیدل چې دې کې 2-3 سره مال وزې مړې شوي دي، یوه پکې دا مربار پرته ده، نور دوه لګېدي دي، خلک راوباسي او پکې ګیر دي او ډېر تلفات دي وروسته وړي دي، دې دیوالونو ته ضرورت دی.
And appalled by the Taliban's treatment of women since their return to power, Afghanistan's first female Olympian is now campaigning for a ban on the country from the Paris Games. A report.
Freeba Riazi, the first woman to represent Afghanistan at the Olympics, has been appalled by the treatment of women since the resurgence of the Taliban and is now campaigning for the country to be kept out of the Paris Games. Riazi, a judoka who competed at the 2004 Olympics in Athens, has called on the International Olympic Committee to ban Afghanistan due to the Taliban's human rights record. The Taliban has closed girls' high schools and placed travel restrictions on women without a male guardian and women from accessing parks and gyms. Freeba, who now lives in Vancouver, has argued that under such a ban, Afghan women should still be allowed to participate as part of the IOC Refugee Olympic team. She has received threats for her activism.
And also the IOC will set a precedent that being a terrorist group is okay. You can violate, you can stone people to death, but you can still participate at the Olympics. But she's only one person. You can't hide behind one person under one flag and a portrait and tell the world that everything's okay for Afghanistan, that everything's okay for women's rights in Afghanistan. No, because it's not true.
The Taliban refused to comment. James McLeod, director of National Olympic Committee Relations and Olympic Solidarity, had earlier said the IOC acknowledged different views, but it does not believe that isolation of the Afghan sporting community at this time is the right approach.
Dismissing the call for communist unity, KP Sharma Oli, the chairman of Nepal's CPN-UML, the largest communist party in the Himalayan nation, has said that instead there is a need for cooperation among forces that favor good governance and national unity. The left cannot form or govern a new government, and in the guise of left unity, many fake things are happening, the Kathmandu Post quoted Oli as saying. The CPN-UML has joined hands with the Maoist Centre and Unified Socialist to form the government after PM Pushpakamal Dahal ditched the alliance with the Nepali Congress and brought the two communist parties together, leading to speculation for a united left front, the report suggested. Highlighting the formation of Nepal Communist Party in 2018, Oli said unity among the left parties was weakened, leading to its dissolution. He added the time is ripe for national forces to come together, not for the unity among communist parties. Months after PM Modi's Lakshadweep visit hogged limelight, especially over distasteful comments by Maldivian politicians, Indian beach destinations are now attracting more and more tourists who are now comparing them to Maldives. While Lakshadweep has become talk of the town, Andaman and Nicobar Islands have also continued to captivate travelers yearning for an exotic escape. The tropical haven is renowned for crystal clear waters and rich marine biodiversity. Tourists visiting the islands on Monday called their trip budget-friendly and lauded the authorities over infrastructure development.
And it's a wonderful experience in Andamans. And I mean, there's such beautiful turquoise blue waters. You don't have to go to Bangkok and Pattaya or Maldives. I think Andaman is a place where there's a lot of beautiful places in India, and I think Andaman should be promoted as the next tourist destination so that people from all around the world can come over here.
Jaisa cheese hai, everything seems very good. All the facilities everywhere, like on the beach or any place, it's clean and everything is very good. So I think definitely the government has worked.
That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.